Good evening, and welcome to Hearth and Hauntings, formerly the Fireside. Tonight takes us to Connecticut with two separate local legends. The first story continues what I'd spoken about in my last video. The second will take us in a new direction. Without further ado, I now present the Black Dog of Hanging Hills. One of its earliest known recorded appearances comes from an old paper, Connecticut Quarterly. A small, black dog of gregarious nature, this curious spirit differs from some of the others. Seeing this dog once elicits feelings of great joy, though seeing it a second time brings about an insurmountable despair. To see it a third time, though, is to greet death. Two geologists, Pynchon and Marshall, were conducting research in the Hanging Hills for the United States Geological Survey. Pynchon had already seen the dog once, and though Marshall had seen the dog twice already, he remained skeptical of the legend. There, as they hiked to the top of a cliff, they saw the dog once more. Marshall slipped and plunged over the edge. His body was later recovered by authorities. To this day, there are 6 attributed deaths to third encounters with the Black Dog of Hanging Hills. Stories of people seeing this dog still persist today. From the Hanging Hills of Meriden, we move on to New Haven, Connecticut. This local legend is that of Midnight Mary. Atop her pink granite tombstone reads an abridged version of Job 34:20. The people shall be troubled at midnight and pass away, followed by, at high noon, just from and about to renew her daily work, in her full strength of body and mind, Mary E. Hart, having fallen prostrate, remained unconscious until she died at midnight, October 15th, 1872, born December 16th, 1824. The first version of the story I'll mention today, and in the following videos, I'll mention the other two. I now present Midnight Mary, Part 1. Mary Hart had been discovered by her family, dead of a stroke, at midnight. In short order, arrangements had been made, and she was buried. The next night, though, her aunt was plagued with nightmares that Mary was still alive in her coffin. When aunt awoke the next day, she begged and pleaded they dig up Mary's body. Finally agreeing, if only to calm her hysterics, officials agreed to dig up the coffin. When they opened the lid, the inside had been shredded, and what remained of her fingertips were bloody. Mary had not been as dead as they'd thought when she was buried, but now was permanently so. To this day, anyone unfortunate enough to be caught after midnight in the cemetery or disturbing her grave will meet an untimely demise soon thereafter. This concludes tonight's chapter of Hearth and Hauntings. Thank you for listening, and remember, beware the dogs black as night. Double check that the dead are truly so, and never be caught in the cemetery after midnight.